The Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, highly regarded publication here, has been a report by Robert Norris and Hans Christensen, which has literally laid bare all of Pakistan's secret nuclear strategy. Just a summary of what is said here in the report. Basic point it says is that Pakistan is enhancing its nuclear weapon capabilities across the board by developing and deploying new nuclear-capable missiles and expanding its capacity to produce fissile materials for use in weapons. Among what is being prepared by Pakistan, new nuclear-capable ballistic missile, 2 nuclear-capable cruise missiles, 2 new plutonium reactors, and a second chemical separation facility under construction. Now, this report has raised a lot of eyebrows here in India because only 48 hours back there was a report of Pakistan remodeling the Harpoon in order to be able to make it more effective against India. Now, this report's author also joins our panel this evening. I have great pleasure in introducing Hans Christensen, who's director of the Nuclear Information Project of the Federation of American Scientists, joining us from Washington this evening. Maruf Raza from New Delhi, also joined by General Rashid Qureshi, who's worked closely with Musharraf from Islamabad. KC Singh, former Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs, also joined by one of India's top nuclear scientists, Dr. R.R. Subramaniam. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us. First question is to you, Hans Christensen. What really is Pakistan up to, you think, which your report talks about?
Pakistan, like India, is modernizing its nuclear forces and has been trying for a long time now to transition from shorter-range missiles into a more solid medium-range ballistic missile force, and that is apparently what's about to happen with the pending introduction of the Shaheen 2. In addition to that, they're also, as you mentioned, developing 2 cruise missiles that are assessed to be nuclear capable. They're not deployed yet, but might become so in the future. And then in addition to that, they're building a couple of nuclear plutonium production reactors that will, of course, increase their capacity to produce the material that's used in the core of nuclear weapons.
Now, just for a general viewer, Mr. Christensen, why would Pakistan replace? What does it mean really when you write that Pakistan wants to replace its uranium-based weapons with smaller, lighter plutonium weapons? What's the concern for India?
Well, I don't know if there's a particular concern for India about that development necessarily. It all depends how it pans out. We're just observing that apparently it's underway. Pakistan hasn't announced this, of course, and I'm sure it's very secret, but what we think is happening is that they're transitioning from a focus on building uranium nuclear bombs to transitioning to build bombs that are based on plutonium. That's a long process. And of course, for many years, we'll still have the uranium-based bombs. But apparently, they are trying to do what India is also doing, which is base their weapons on plutonium, which is a material that you don't need as much of in the nuclear warhead as uranium. And so you can have smaller, lighter warheads that will fit into either existing systems and make them fly longer, or you can build them into smaller new systems.
Right. Dr. Subramaniam, do you get a sense, Dr. Subramaniam, that Pakistan is trying to accelerate somewhere its whole nuclearization program?
Well, I don't think it's acceleration that is sudden. It's been on for quite some time. But Arnab, the main thing is the Pakistani army, unlike the Indian army, believes in the use of tactical nuclear weapons. That is, means short-range objective for checking Indian conventional thrust with tanks and so on. And our army somehow believes in total retaliation, strategic retaliation. Now, this is one of the things where plutonium comes in, because as you know, in the NATO theater, the United States and the Soviet Union had thousands of tactical nuclear weapons based on plutonium. They're reserving the enriched uranium for strategic purposes. Now, I don't want to get into the feeling of a sudden alarm or anything, because 2 more Kushab reactors would take about, say, another 10 years for the reactor to come on stream. What is worrisome about the fact is, as you know, the earlier reports of Harpoon, and the most important thing is we should bear in mind that we have made a declaratory no first use. Now, the point is this no first use, normally these are declarations that in times of war, as they say in Latin, when circumstances change, treaties change and so on, declarations also change. Now, the Pakistani army runs that country. Now, there's nothing secret about it. The real issue is China. Now, if you remember in 1966, when China exploded a thermonuclear weapon, it was found that there were traces of plutonium. Now, this is what Dr. Christensen is probably not revealing. The real issue is the movement towards a thermonuclear weapon. As you know, even in this country, there's all kinds of ridiculous controversy over this H-bomb of ours, which is really a 45 KT weapon, what we call enhanced boosted fission device. And plutonium often acts in many ways as a very enhancing, boosting capacity. So one has to see the alarm in a long-term perspective about A.Q. Khan's incredible capacity to deal with China so quickly and effectively that they give him designs which no other country proliferates in such a manner, and that the hydrogen weapon designs based on plutonium may reach Pakistan.
Well,
that's where the alarming issue is.
Yes.
I mean, I don't really attach too much importance. Because I don't see attach too much importance to moving into plutonium and so on.
Right. No, I think that's a very comprehensive explanation, which takes me to my next point, because Dr. Subramaniam, you made the point that India and Pakistan, how they look at nukes is different. You work closely with Musharraf. I'd like you to be candid tonight. General Rashid Qureshi, be candid and tell us, is it true or not that the Pakistani military or the hardline sections of the Pakistani military look upon the tactical use of nukes rather than nukes as a deterrent, as Pakistan, some of your politicians would make us believe?